Hello gamers, I hope you're all doing great. The remake of the original Resident Evil is being remade. Yes. Oh god, yes. This is the first time I've been excited for a Resident Evil game in a very long time. Even if Capcom continues to use the word remaster, I'm getting the vibe of a remake here, and that makes me really hyped. As some of you probably know, my channel is strictly Nintendo focused, with a few exceptions here and there. I can't miss out in talking about the RE-REmake of Resident Evil, since the remake on GameCube is my personal favorite game of all time. I literally love everything that Capcom said about this coming remake except for one thing, and that's the fact that no Wii U version was announced. I think it's a missed opportunity, and not for the same reason I hear most people say online. My issue with the remake not coming to the Wii U has nothing to do with the original remake being on the GameCube, and so the Wii U needs to have it. With that logic, let's not forget the remake on GameCube was based on a PlayStation classic, and the PS2 did not get the remake. Well, at the time, Nintendo had a partnership with Capcom, and they got a bunch of new and remastered Resident Evil games for the GameCube, but yeah, I don't want to get too off topic here. My reason for being disappointed that the Wii U version is missing in action is because of the controllers. For starters, the Wii U is going to have GameCube controller support soon, and that would have been the perfect trip back to the past. And if Resident Evil Revelations taught me anything, it's that the gamepad is made for Resident Evil. Having the map and inventory screen always available on the gamepad is so useful. But regardless, this will not stop me from getting it and re-experience my favorite game. For anyone who never played the remake on GameCube and that loves survival horror, prepare yourself for the god of survival horror. That game is an absolute perfection with literally zero issues. Yes, I'm sure that's subjective, and I know lots of people complained about the camera angles and controls. I loved the camera and how it made me fear what's up ahead, and the tank controls never bothered me. That being said, the camera angles have been tweaked a little bit to allow for some widescreen gameplay, as well as having the camera move with you a bit similar to Resident Evil 0. At least that's what I understood from the images you are seeing right now. The controls also got tweaked to give you more of a Resident Evil Outbreak feel, where if the character is facing down and you hold up on your control stick, the character will now move up. In other words, the controls will not be tanked, but you will have the option for tank controls if you like. I'm sure lots of people would love the modern third-person shooter controls and camera with survival horror games, but all I have to say to that is, keep that away from Resident Evil. It doesn't matter if the next Resident Evil game is the scariest game ever. It still won't feel like Resident Evil if the overall feel of Resident Evil is not intact. The key is to improve the controls and improve the camera, not change it. Improve and change are two completely different things. I personally never had any issue with the way old school Resident Evil games played, but for those who did, I would say having the camera move with you at times like Resident Evil 0 and having an option to having the controls not tanked would be a great start for an improvement. I might as well say that I'm loving the very noticeable visual upgrade with the new remake, and I can't wait to finally experience the god of survival horror in HD. Not to mention playing the game with its awesome 5.1 surround sound compatibility. The old school Resident Evil games are so incredibly good. For any of you who know me, you would know that with a very small exception, I can't stand generic games. Doing the same thing every level without proper level design innovation bores me and bores me fast. The old school Resident Evil games were everything but generic. It wasn't just the fact they were true survival horror games that I loved. It was the puzzles, The brilliant level design with all the backtracking, the horror music, and then feeling so relaxed once you hear the theme in a safe room containing the typewriter and item box. The story based on survival and the very limited ammunition. The only reason why I should have plenty of ammo is if I made the decision to bypass a bunch of zombies. Remember, Resident Evil is not about shooting a bunch of zombies, so we should not get the freedom to shoot zombies in the head or wherever we want like we did in Resident Evil 4, 5, 6, and Revelations. You want to shoot zombies in the head in the remake of Resident Evil? Pull out your shotgun, aim up, wait for the zombie to almost be in biting distance, then fire. Either that or pull out your almighty magnum and say GG to everyone you see. I guarantee you will be scared at some point or another in this game. Ever faced a Crimson Head before? They make you worry about every previous zombie you killed without blowing their head off. Oh, and any fan will shiver at the simple words Lisa Trevor. I won't spoil who she is for anyone who never played the remake on GameCube. Just prepare to have your heart beat a lot faster. Well, there you have it. The god of survival horror is back and looking better than ever. This is a digital game only with no physical copy outside of Japan. I see this remake of a remake as a test. A test to see if there's still an audience for this type of game. If this game sells really well, I'm convinced we'll get future installments in the series play a lot like the old school ones, along with a higher probability of getting remakes of Resident Evil 2 and 3. Hell, they can remake all old school Resident Evil games and I would be so down for that. There is a big difference between a remaster and a remake, and if the first remake of the original Resident Evil is any indication as to what we can expect for future remakes, wow, this is bound to be good. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and yes, we finally re-entered the world of survival horror. So take care, you Nintendo fans and all-around gamers. Enjoy gaming. Guard out.